like you to make sure you have a block, and you may even want a blanket for some of the stuff. Class this morning is going to be about twisting, so we're going to do some twists. And twists are really nice, one for our digestion, so it really helps to kind of compress and massage the organs to help get things moving. If that is something that you struggle with, a practice of doing a few twists can be really helpful. One of the ways that, or one of the most common times that we might struggle with going to the bathroom on a regular basis is traveling. Traveling always kind of offsets our balance in our bodies, and so doing some twists can be very helpful for that. So it's really not only about stimulating the digestion, but therefore also really nice for detoxifying and kind of cleansing and detoxing. Right now, of course, we're in spring, so detoxes are quite common during this time of year. And not only are we detoxing the physical body and twist, you can also really reflect upon maybe emotions you're ready to wring out and let go. There may be an old belief system no longer serving you that you're ready to wring out and let go. A negative thought, whatever it may be. So it can really be effective for all those layers of our being that we've discussed before. So from the physical on down to, or on into the emotions or our thoughts as well. So just kind of reflect upon that. We're going to start on our back this morning. You won't need your block to begin with. We're just going to roll on back. And as you settle onto your back, notice if you'd like to have a blanket underneath your head, just to lift it slightly or just to create some ease. We'll keep our knees bent. And I like to bring my feet just a little bit wider than my hips, and then it allows my knees to come together. You find what's comfortable for you, but when I do this, then my legs are supporting each other, and I don't have to hold them up. And then on the upper body, you can rest your hands on your belly. You can open them wide if you want to. So just noticing wherever the upper body lands that's comfortable for you. And to begin our practice, let's take 10 long, slow, deep breaths. Just inhaling through the nose, filling up completely, maybe pause at the top, and then allow the breath to be released out through the mouth. As you take a deep breath in, energetically bring in what you need for yourself. Even if you're not sure what that is, just have that be your intention. And as you exhale, it's a letting go, or a surrendering, or releasing. And again, even if you're not sure what that is, just create that intention of taking in and letting go. Let go into the moment. And be present to this gift of practice this morning. When you've completed 10 full breaths, allow any shaping of the breath to fall away. And simply observe any sensations, or observe the body and where you experience the breath. Let's check in with our layers of our being. So we recognize who's on the mat this morning. And we'll start with our physical body, Anamaya Kosha. Just noticing head to toe, just to do a little scan, different areas that need your care and attention this morning. You might even pause in one of those areas or in multiple areas that do need your attention and just breathe into them. Just reassure them you're here to listen and take care of those places. We move a layer into Pranamaya Kosha, our energy and breath body. And so begin to notice the quality of your breath. Maybe notice the subtle energy movement just beneath the skin. From here, we go into our mental and emotional body, Manomaya Kosha. So just checking in if there's some thoughts that are swirling around that may be preventing you from being fully present with this practice. And the willingness to let them go for a bit. If they serve you, come back to them later, and maybe it's time to let go completely. And what emotions are bubbling right there on the surface this morning, whether it's somewhat of an agitation or feeling peaceful, frustrated, joyful, just acknowledging whatever's showing up. And from here, connecting into our heart and our inner wisdom. Vijnanamaya Kosha. Just noticing how connected you feel to that source within you, providing guidance. And a willingness to connect more deeply to that guidance through the practice and the choices you make for yourself on the mat. And then the final layer within is our bliss body, Ananda Maya Kosha, a place within us that's never disturbed. It's always of peace and bliss, no matter what's going on around us. And then being open to remembering that this morning or today in this practice. And now find your way back into your breath, beginning to deepen it to about an 85% of capacity. And finding a nice even flow between the breath in and out, breathing through the nose if possible. And we're going to go ahead and bring the feet and the knees all the way together so they're touching. So the edges of your feet are touching, knees touching. And be aware of the bottom of your feet. And so we can feel the mound of the big toe in the floor, the heel. We can feel the outer edges of our feet connected into the earth. And from here, we're going to start to move side to side with the knees, but keeping the feet firmly planted. So the movement is really small. You're going to notice that if it starts to get a little too big, the first place I notice it is the mound of my big toe. Just keep those anchored, and we're just rocking right across the sacrum. Just a small little movement side to side. So when it comes to twisting, we're going to twist through the spine. We really want to take our time warming up for this practice, taking care of our backs, being really gentle with ourselves. No matter what time of day you end up doing a practice with twists, really start slow. So notice what's going on through your sacrum, continue with that even breath, and then if it feels right, you can start to make this a little bigger, rolling to the outer edge of each foot side to side. And we're still not taking the knees to the floor. We're just making the movement a little bit bigger, but it's still fairly minimal. Breathing, checking in, and just being gentle as we invite our body into this practice. And then we're going to bring that back to center. And we're going to bring the feet off the floor just a bit. We still want to feel or create a perpendicular alignment between the knees and the hips and the floor. So we're not pulling the knees in close to us, but they're not really far away from us. They're just straight up and down here, the thighs. Okay? And then you can keep the feet relaxed and the shins relaxed. We're not trying to find a 90-degree angle, just relax them. And we're going to do that same movement, just real small, across the sacrum, and begin to become very familiar with the lower abdominal area so that you engage your core. So hug that in like you're drawing it toward the navel towards the spine, and keep that engagement. And then we're going to rock side to side here and start to notice your pelvis. So we're only taking this to the edge of the pelvis in each direction. Okay, so again, the purpose here is not to bring the knees all the way to the floor yet. We'll work our way into some deeper twists. This is just to invite the body, and now we're starting to activate the core, which is also very important, supporting our practice, supporting our low backs. And this is also your time to listen to the body, to see what it's feeling, what it has to say to you as you begin this practice. Okay, so if you have anything going on in your back today, you're going to want to keep this practice more minimal, right? The twist will stay more minimal. Really honor that in yourself. And then we'll bring that back to center, and now draw the knees into the chest. Hands to your knees, hug in. This nice stretch to the low back and sacrum here. And we'll come into our Apanasana, or knees to chest. So on an inhale, arm lengths away, we push the knees. And then exhale, we hug them in close. Inhale, arm lengths away. And exhale in close. Just on your own with your breath. As we move through twists this morning, it's important to remember that we have the most mobility in the neck and the least mobility as far as twisting goes in our low back and sacrum. So we really want to take care of those areas and not move too deeply into them according to how you're feeling today. Let's take this and start to move in circles with the knees, just keeping them together and circling in one direction. And circling the other way. bring that into center. And let's go ahead and place the feet into the floor. I'm going to shift a little bit because my props are in the way. We're going to go ahead and take your feet out as wide as your mat. Okay, so just a wide knee, double knee drop. On an exhale, we release the knees to one side. We can keep the gaze up to the ceiling for now. And then we pick up just the top knee. We let the legs open wide. And then the bottom knee eventually follows. And both knees drop to the other side. And we coordinate this with the breath. The inhale, knees open wide. And exhale, they release to the other side. Just a couple more times, side to side, very slowly. Take your time here with your breath, inhale and exhaling. So as we release to one side into a twist, notice where you feel this. I feel it through the outer edge of my thigh, my IT band, my outer hip, a little bit into the low back and even into the sacrum. And of course, as I open wide, I feel this more in the groin, inner thigh, a little bit in the hip flexors. And then if you'd like to get the head involved, you can start to rotate the head the opposite direction you bring your knees. And then as the knees open wide, the head moves to center. And exhale, release into the twist and rotate the head the opposite way. And then when you've gone side to side equally, bring the knees back up to center. And once again, let's go ahead and draw the knees into the chest. A little Apanasana. And from here, let's go ahead and roll to one side. And we'll find our way to hands and knees. So placing the palms at the front of your mat, really anchoring through the entire hand and all the full length of all your fingers. And that way we're not just weighting onto the heel of the hand, which is nice for the wrist. And then from here, on an exhale, around the spine, tuck the tailbone under, release the head. So a little cat-cow. Inhaling, open, soften the heart towards the earth, lift the head, lift the tail, and exhale, round. So again, an opportunity just to continue this idea of warming up. Notice what's going on in your back today. So the choices you make are in alignment with who's on the mat, and they nourish that person. From here, it might feel good to circle the hips. You make big or small circles several times in one direction, then switch. And we're just going to get a little creative and have some fun here and just move in the body in a way that feels nourishing to you. So you might want to move side to side. You might want to move in larger circles side to side and kind of combining all of that. And just continue to move with this a few times. You can also come back to cat-cow, just staying with cat-cow. And then we'll start to work our way into Chakravarkasana. So exhale, release back into a child's pose. And inhale, hands and knees. Notice the difference as you move forward and back when your core is engaged. So we found that when we were on our backs. So hugging the navel to the spine, just rocking front to back or forward and back with your core engaged. So it's really supportive on the back. As you inhale, the heart lifts. You might even want to start to lengthen it forward a bit. And as you exhale, drawing back into the child's pose. The next time you find your way to hands and knees, let's pause here together. And we're going to come into an alternate arm and leg lift just to warm up and strengthen the back body. So your inhale will lift the right arm, left leg, just shoulder height, hip height, and really engage with the core. And then your exhale, bring that back down to all fours. Inhale, left arm, right leg. And exhale. And switch, just continue to alternate side to side. The inhale lifts your limbs, and the exhale brings you back down to tabletop or all fours. So we're working asymmetrically across the body. And when you've gone equally side to side, we'll go ahead and pause all fours. And then we're going to come into thread the needle. So we're going to do a little upper back twist here. And so you're going to take your left palm and kind of rotate the fingers slightly, right? So it draws the elbow out, opens up the shoulder girdle here. You're going to take your right hand, slide it underneath you, and come towards the top edge of your head. So we want to keep the cheek off the floor. Your butt is way up in the air, and we're drawing that arm through there. And if you can, you're coming to rest on that right shoulder. Now this is a nice place to use a blanket if your shoulder doesn't make it here. You can put the blanket, even just a corner of the blanket underneath the shoulder. It's a nice modification. And just take a few breaths. Your left elbow is up towards the ceiling. And just a really nice opening through that shoulder. And then just feel that twist through the upper back. It's a challenging area to get to. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then after that second breath, we'll come back to all fours. Fingertips facing straight ahead, and a little cat-cow again. Before we move to the other side, let's just find a little cat-cow. Maybe even a few rounds of Chakravarkasana, just exhaling back into a child's pose. Just notice what's shifted. And then the next time you find your way to hands and knees, rotate the right hand in just slightly, fingertips in, and left arm slides underneath you. We're coming onto that left shoulder, top edge of the head, so the cheek that is not on the floor. Right elbow up to the ceiling, and breathe here. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then find your way back to hands and knees. And a little cat-cow or Chakravartasana again. And let's find your way into a child's pose and just pause here for a moment. You can walk the arms out. So you're really lengthening the arms. You feel the elbows come up off your mat. You can even come up onto the tips of all 10 fingers, like you're cupping a ball in the palm of your hand. And just really reaching and lengthening through the arm and into the shoulder and even into the side body. Now from this reaching position, let's go ahead and walk your arms to, you can even bring your head with you to the left. Start to walk to the left. Right, when we're reaching and lengthening through the right arm, but now you can relax the left. Right, so my whole forearm and elbow is in the floor of the left arm, but I'm reaching through the right. Breathe all the way into the low back here. And then we'll walk everything back to center, finding child's pose. Both arms extended. And then we'll go ahead, walk the arms to the right. You can bring your head with you. Relax the right arm. Keep reaching and lengthening through the left. Breathe into that left side body. And then we'll go ahead from here, bring everything back to center. Relax the arms and just take a few deep breaths in a standard child's pose. Breathe into the back body. And allow your next inhale to bring you to hands and knees. Let's curl the toes under and find our first down dog here today. So take the hips up into the sky, and on this first one, let's just take them for a walk. So pedaling the heels in and out of the earth, in and out of your mat, bend the knees, shift through the hips. You can really move through the spine. And when you feel complete with that, bring your knees back to the mat and into a child's pose. Take one breath here. And then let's find our way into what I like to call our mini flow, just nice and slow. The inhale brings you to hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Exhale, down dog. Nice, long, slow breath out. And a nice full breath in brings you to your knees. And again, long, slow exhale brings you back into that child's pose. So start to even the breath out. So the movement to hands and knees will be a little bit more slow. And each exhale, we alternate between down dog and child's pose. It becomes a very mindful movement, very present with the breath and the connection to the body. You can even close your eyes here if you're comfortable with that. And you let go of the distractions of where we are. And the next time you find your way into down dog, let's come there together. So Adho Mukha Svanasana. And we're going to take our feet and walk them up about, maybe 1.5 feet or so closer to the hands. Now they may even need to come closer for you. That depends. We're going to come into a twist, and this is for the upper back again. So I'm going to take my right hand, my right arm, reach under me and grab the outer left ankle. Okay, so again, you can minimize this by stepping the feet forward even more. Okay, or you can deepen the stretch by having the feet farther back. Just depends on you. And then if I actually pull, I'm actively grabbing my ankle, bending my right elbow and pulling my heart even closer. And I draw that shoulder towards my left knee and really get a nice stretch in my upper back. And then release that, and we'll switch sides. So the left arm reaches underneath to the outer right ankle. Make any adjustments you need to if this side feels different for whatever reason. Start to pull the heart underneath and rotate or twist the upper body towards that right knee. And then release that back into a down dog or a half down dog. Keep your feet where they are. And then from here, let's bring our feet all the way to our hands. And come to the front of your mat. Just hanging out in Uttanasana for a moment. Let the head hang, allow the shoulders to hang, and the spine draping over the thighs. Let's take our hands to our hips. Bend the knees quite generously, like you're going to sit into a chair. Press down through both feet. Engage the core as you start to lift the heart. And all the way up to standing. Okay, so you all should be at the front of your mat. And we are going to have some fun in our twisting sun salutations. So we're going to play here a little bit. So just follow along with me and do the best you can with this. There'll be a lot of shifting and adjusting with your feet to stay square on your mat. So that's just part of the process. All right, so before we really come into those sun salutations, let's just move in and out of standing and forward fold. So Tadasana into Uttanasana. So inhale, reaching the arms overhead. Take the gaze up if that feels safe on your neck. Exhale, palms down through center, fold forward. And then either arms by your side or out wide. Engage the core, lengthen the spine, and inhale, reach up, gaze up. And exhale down through center again. And one more time, inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, back up. Exhale into your heart. Take a breath. And we'll have a little fun here. So inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Step your right foot back. Place the right knee in the floor, so it's just a low lunge. And inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Step back into down dog with the left foot in front of the right. Right, so you'll notice your feet are a little over to the right, so just walk them to center if you need to, if that helps you feel a little more balanced there. You can pull forward from plank pose or stay in down dog. You can even move into a modified up dog here if you choose. And then we exhale, press back into down dog. Take the right foot, swing it around and all the way up to the front of your mat. Bring the left knee down. Straighten out the feet there. And inhale, reach up, low lunge. Exhale, fold. And we're going to step up the left foot behind the right. Okay. And then you really feel stable. If you can bring your feet a little farther apart here on the twist, you might feel a little bit more grounded. Use your core and slowly find your way up to standing. Just take your time. It's going to be a little wobbly. Exhale, back down through center, fold forward. We're going to take that left foot and step it all the way back. Straighten out the right. I like to shift my right foot just slightly over to the right so everything's square again. Lower the left knee, and we inhale up to our low lunge. Exhale, fold. Step back into down dog with the right foot in front of the left. Recenter the feet if need be. And then take that left foot around and swing it up. Bring that right knee down. Center the feet if you need to. And inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Step the right foot up parallel with the front foot. So we're back to where we started. And your inhale will bring you to standing. And exhale to your heart. So we'll go through one more round. Inhale. And exhale, fold forward. Let's step our left foot back. Low lunge. Inhale up. And exhale, fold. Press back into down dog, right foot in front of the left. Inhale, maybe pull forward into plank. You're welcome to just stay in down dog or move into an up dog. Exhale. And take that left foot, swing it around up to the front of your mat. Right knee to the floor, low lunge, inhale. Exhale, fold. Right foot steps up behind the left. And on an inhale, come up. And exhale, right back down. Right foot steps back. Low lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Step back into down dog with the left foot in front of the right. Inhale, stay in down dog or pull forward into plank or up dog. Exhale, back into down dog. Right foot swings forward, inhaling. Low lunge, reach up, all one inhale if possible. Exhale, fold. Stepping the left foot forward next to the right foot. So we're just in a traditional forward fold. And inhale up to standing. Palms together and into the heart. Beautiful. Just a little fun. Okay. So we're going to come into some twists now, standing twists. And the first one we're going to start with is chair pose. And so if you have anything with knees that coming to sit more deeply into this pose, just keep everything minimal. You can stay in a more of a standing position and just be here. Okay, you don't have to move any deeper than that. Okay, so really listen to your knees if that's what it, or even the low back. So sometimes coming into a deep squat can be more challenging on the low back, so really listen to that today. The other option you have is something we've done before. You can use your block and squeeze the block. I have it at its flattest level between my thighs. If that's something you'd like to try or you know you like to do, this is a nice place to do it. And I have the length of the block is behind me, right? So the front of the block is, for the most part, level with my thighs. I don't have it sticking out in front of me because it kind of gets in the way of the twist. So I have it behind me. Okay. All right, so from here, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of discover your squat this morning. Just notice where that's going to be for you, how deeply you want to sit. Keep squeezing the block. Core is engaged, spine tall. And we're reaching back with the sit bone so you can see and wiggle your toes. Your knees are behind your toes. Okay? And then come back up and just notice how that feels. All right, again, spine stays fairly tall. We're not leaning forward with the heart yet. We will get there into the twist. But for now, let's find the squat one more time. Reach back with the sits bones. Okay, so I can turn sideways to the camera. Reaching back. Just notice how your body feels. Take a few breaths here. Hands can stay on the thighs or here. And then slowly come back up. Good. Okay. So now we're going to find the twist, and we're going to start fairly minimal, and the option will be to move more deeply if that serves you today. So from here, hands to your hips, find your squat, whatever that was for you. Right? And we're going to take our right hand to the outer left knee, left hand to your sacrum. Right? And here's your twist. So I'm pressing my knee into my hand into my knee, and that action with my spine long, I'm not rounding and hunching over, my spine's long, heart open. Now I'm twisting to the left. And this action of the hand and the knee are creating that twist. Core is engaged, breath flowing. And then slowly unwind and come back up. Shake that out a little bit if you need to. And then we'll move to the other side, okay? So again, come into your chair pose, buttocks behind you, be able to see your toes, spine tall, heart lifted here, core engaged, left hand to the outer edge of the right knee, right hand behind you. Press the knee into the hand into one another, and that action will begin to draw you into a twist to the right. Heart open, breath flowing, core engaged, support your low back here. And then slowly unwind, stand up, shake that out. And we're going to come into this one more time each side. So you're going to have the option to stay where you just were, right? So a more minimal twist, just using the hands. And then those who have it available to them today to move a little bit more deeply, we're going to bring the elbow to the thigh, but that's going to require a much deeper seat in your squat. So you have to decide whether that serves you today, okay? So hands to your hips. For those of you who are going to stay at the first option, right hand to the left knee, left hand to your sacrum. For those of you who want to move a little bit more deeply, I'm going to extend my heart over and lengthen my spine over my thighs. I can still see and wiggle my toes. Right elbow to the thigh, palms together. Press the palms together, rotate the spine. Shoulders stay back and down, heart open, breath flowing, core engaged. And then you can shift your gaze up above that left elbow to the ceiling. and slowly unwind. Use your core, unwind, and come up. Again, shake that out a little bit. Feels good. And one more side. So you decide on the other side, as we twist to the right, how deeply you want to take this. First option, left hand to the right knee, right hand to your sacrum. Excuse me. Next option, sit a little bit more deeply. You should still be able to see and wiggle the toes. Left elbow to the thigh, palms together. Press those palms together to open the heart. Twist to the right. Spine is long. Your breath is still flowing. Core is strong. And gaze up to the ceiling. Slowly unwind. Come up to standing. Let's remove the block, shake that out. Nice work. So we're gonna still possibly use the block, so keep that at the front of your mat. For now, let's just kind of move that out a little bit into some half sun salutations. So just finding your center. Take a few breaths. Just feel the echo of that twist. Just notice the sensations through the body. How is the body responding? On an inhale, reach up. Take a hold of one wrist and exhale to the opposite side. Inhale, reach up. Switch wrists and exhale to the other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release the arms, either to your hips or to your sacrum. Elbows back, heart open, lift through the sternum, slight tucking of the tailbone to lengthen the low back. And then the exhale, the hands run down the back of the legs, fold forward. Hands to your shins, inhale halfway. And exhale, release. Back into the forward fold. And then inhale, either arms by your side or out wide. Gauge the core, bend the knees slightly, and rise up. And bring your palms together into your heart. Good. So we're going to take our blocks and we're going to place them to the inner edge of our left foot as we step your right foot back for a triangle pose. Okay, so we're going to come into triangle pose. I'm going to come sideways to the camera here. All right. And then from there, we will be moving into a twist. All right. And the block is a really nice, unless you really have a lot of flexibility in your hamstrings, you're just wide open there. The block is just a beautiful tool for this, especially as we move into the twist, to create a bit of lift in the upper body and to feel a little bit more spaciousness, right? So that ability to keep everything, even if we move into a twist, the important thing to remember here is we're not taking the discs and compressing them. We want to keep the spine elongated this whole time. Right, so we're not sinking and twisting, we're elongating and twisting, and so the block's very helpful for that. Right, so bring the arms up, shoulder height. And then from here, just kind of reach forward slightly, bringing the left hand to the block, if possible. Maybe it just stays to the back of the shin. That's fine too. If it can make it to the block, great. Okay, if you're having to bend this front knee, then maybe come up a little bit. But if the blocks works, bring it to the block. And if this feels easy for you, just be willing to stay here for a moment. Okay? And then you can shift the gaze up to the right fingertips. Feel an elongation through the spine, through the left side body. On your next exhale, start to release the right arm. Rotate the heart to the block. Now, if it makes it easier for your back leg, and it certainly does for me, I like to rotate my heel back, so now I'm in more of a pyramid pose. Okay, so it really freed up my right hip than if I try to keep my toes in triangle and come into this twist. So for me, that feels a little bit easier. And then notice if your back heel is rising up off the floor due to your Achilles being a bit tight, then narrow your stance. Step the foot forward slightly so that back heel, your right heel, can be in the floor. Okay, so find that position first. There's your foundation. Right hand to the block, left hand to your sacrum, or to your hip rather. And then really lengthen the crown of the head forward, so you're lengthening the spine. And then open into the twist to the left. And then notice if it serves you at all to change the position of your left hand. You can keep it on your hip. I prefer that usually. But you can decorate the pose by extending the left arm up. I find this pose particularly difficult, and I like to modify it by keeping my arm or my hand on my hip. Find the breath, and then if you feel balanced enough to do this, you can shift the gaze up to the ceiling. Otherwise, look straight ahead or even down to the foot. On an exhale, slowly unwind. Go ahead and place both hands in your mat on either side of that left foot, and then step back into a down dog and just walk that out a bit. And then bring the knees to the floor and back into a child's pose. Just release back here and feel the practice so far, pausing. And just breathe. Our inhale brings you back to hands and knees. Exhale, down dog. And then walk your feet up to the front of your mat to meet your hands. And arms by your side or out wide. Bend the knees, lengthen the spine. Inhale up. And back into the heart. Oh, I'm always having to shift positions for the camera. So we're going to take now our block to the inner edge of your right foot and step the left foot back. Okay, so here we already decide the width of our stance. There's your foundation, opening those left toes slightly. Okay, both legs stay straight in triangle pose. Arms float up, shoulder height. Reach forward slightly with the right fingertips as you come down to the block. So that just enables us to create some length in that right side body, so we're not folding here, right? I'm lengthening out that side body to bring my hand to the block. And then the left arm up to the ceiling. And then the gaze can shift up to the left fingertips. Heart is open, spine long, core engaged, and breathe. On your exhale, rotate forward. Both hands to the block. Here's where we get to decide about that back foot. So again, maybe it feels good to you to rotate those toes forward. And then notice if you want to narrow your stance, step that back foot up a little bit to create ease in the Achilles or your calf. Lengthen, reach the heart forward, reach the crown of the head forward, so you're really lengthening the spine. Left hand to the block, right hand to your hip. And then from that lengthened spine, we open into the twist to the right. And then you can decide if you'd like to extend the right arm or keep it at your hip. I prefer to keep mine at my hip. And then you can shift your gaze up, see how that feels, or straight ahead, or down to the foot. On an exhale, unwind. We're going to place your hands on either side of the right foot, so just move the block out of the way. And press back into down dog. Maybe walk that out a bit. Come to the knees and into a child's. Breathe and just feel. So let's come back up to hands and knees and bring your left foot forward. So your right knee is in the floor. You might end up using the block, but so you can just have it nearby. That may or may not be an option for you, but we're going to come up into our low lunge. Okay, so we're going to do a twist from here. And we don't necessarily have to also find a deep stretch in the hip flexor. We can stay more neutral with this, keep the core lifted a bit. And just like we did in our squat, right hand to the outer left knee, left hand behind you. So I'm just taking my left hand to my sacrum here. I'm staying as tall as I can through my spine, engaging the core, and my heart and shoulders are open. So I'm going to, again, knee presses into the hand presses into the knee, and I rotate to the left. And you can even shift your gaze out that back shoulder. For those of you who would like to move a little more deeply into this, elbow to the thigh, palms to the heart, and press the palms together, draw the shoulders open, and twist, bringing that left elbow up to the ceiling. And then the other option is to take the block. Your right hand comes to the block as you lift up. I like it to the inner edge of my foot better. That's an option. Okay, I'm going to throw out a couple of options here. The last option is to actually find your twist, wherever that is. Could be even here. And then do you want to curl the right toes under and press up into a high lunge from here? That's up to you. I'm not going to do that today. All right, so just finding that for yourself. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Exhale brings you out of the twist. Press back into down dog. Walk that out a bit. Come back to the knees. And now let's just go right ahead and bring the right foot forward. Again, have the block nearby if you'd like that option. And come up on, come up with a heart. Hands to your thighs. Find your lunge, just a neutral position here. Left hand to the right knee, right hand to your sacrum. Lift through the spine, engage the core, and then rotate to the right. See how this feels on this side. Could be quite different than the first side. And then if you'd like to get the head involved or twist in the neck, bring that around the back shoulder. Remember another option, elbow, left elbow to the thigh, palms together, press the palms together, lengthen, Open the shoulders, take the gaze up above the right elbow. The other option was the block. Whoop. And of course, the last option was to come up into that high lunge. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Slowly unwind. Press back into down dog. Walk that out a bit. Come to the knees and release into a child's pose. You might bring your head to your mat or to your hands. And sometimes it's nice to even use the block here and place the third eye on your block. This helps to quiet the mind. So if you feel like that might serve you, this might feel really good. And just breathe here. From here, let's go ahead and come on up. You're going to find your way onto your backs again. And you might, at the very least, use a block, and you might also use your blanket. So you're going to have both nearby so you have options. And we're going to come into a double knee twist, but it's just more of a restorative position. So we're going to use the props to support us. And so as you roll back, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick the hips up and shift them to the left. Okay. All right. And then from here, pick the knees up, or the feet up off the floor and rotate to the right. Now I'm going to use a lot of props. I'm going to take my blanket underneath my bottom leg and a block between my knees. Now you can do one or the other. You can maybe not use the blanket at all, right? So the bottom leg comes all the way to the floor and you just use the block. That's an option. Or maybe it's only the block underneath you. That's an option. And the blanket between the knees, that's nice too. So you can really play with this. We want to find a position that allows the heart to remain open. So your left shoulder, as you open the arms wide, palms up, the left shoulder remains in your mat. Okay, so it's not rolled up off the floor. And once you've settled into your twist, and then you can rotate your head to the left. And just breathe softly here. Take 2 more breaths here on this side. And then go ahead and release, and we're going to find the other side. So I'm going to rotate around. You can stay where you are. Recenter your hips. And then we'll go ahead and pick them up and shift them to the left, or to the right, excuse me. And the same idea. Shift the hips to the right, pick the knees up, and now you're going to lower them to the floor. And notice what kind of position you want to find yourself on this side. It could be different. You might only use one of the props, or maybe you want to use both and they're even higher. Right? And then the shoulders open, the right shoulder's in the floor. And then rotate your head to the right. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then slowly come out of the pose on this side. Move the props off to the side. And we're going to, from here, go ahead and draw the knees into the chest. Just round the low back. A little Apanasana. Just a little release from the twisting. Maybe some knee circles. Whenever we do a practice of twists, you'll want to try to drink a little extra water today. So make sure you have an extra glass or 2 of water than you normally would today. And then just take a moment, take 1 minute, just listen if there's anything else that might complete your practice this morning before we come into Shavasana. So maybe some hip hikers and pointers would feel nice. If you feel complete, you're welcome to find your way there. When it feels right, go ahead and extend the legs out along the floor. I'm going to guide you this morning through a kind of a basic yoga nidra, or points of relaxation while you're in Shavasana this morning. So notice if you'd like a blanket underneath your knees, or something supporting your head. Allow your arms to open by your side, palms up. Softens the heart. This time is to integrate the practice this morning, to carry it with you in your day. So make any last minute adjustments necessary so that you're completely comfortable and don't have to move or shift during Shavasana and during this guidance. So I'm going to take you through different points in the body, and when an area is named, bring your attention to the part of your body, but don't move it. You're just bringing your mind's eye to that area. And then when the next area is named, you just travel to that next point and just kind of notice the transition too. So as we go from point to point, and we're going to begin with bringing your undivided attention to the brow center of the brow, pit of the throat, right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, right thumb, second finger, third, fourth, fifth, right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, pit of the throat, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, left thumb, second finger, third, fourth, fifth, left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, pit of the throat, middle of the chest, right side of the chest, middle of the chest, left side of the chest, middle of the chest, navel point, middle of the pubic bone, right hip, right knee, right ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth, right ankle, right knee, right hip, middle of the pubic bone, left hip, left knee, left ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth, fifth, left ankle, left knee, left hip, middle of the pubic bone, navel point, middle of the chest, pit of the throat, brow center. Bring your undivided attention to the spot between the eyebrows. Let go of needing to do anything and just focus your attention at that spot between the eyebrows and be empty, deeply relaxed and empty. finding your way back by taking some nice deep breaths, wiggling some fingers and toes. I'm going to share with you a brief reading this morning. You're welcome to stay on your back for a moment or roll to one side if you'd like. This is by Susan Freiburg. Why look for an outward sign on the gust of the wind after a flash of bold lightning, or by probing the deep and mystical language of the universe, when the greatest indicators are already within you? Under the skin of reason and past the layers of logic rests the wise, perceptive bones of your intuition. Inside the rich body of reflections, weaving clues throughout your sleeping dreams. Within the shy flutters and faint waves of feeling sweeping through your being, coaxing you to trust, urging you to listen, all saying, come, retreat to the woods of your own knowing and follow your inner stream. Go ahead and roll to one side if you haven't. Mindfully find your way to a seated position with your hands to your heart. Thank you for allowing me to take the seat of teacher today, and may you follow your own stream, your intuition in your life each and every day. Namaste.